Hey guys, so today I'm going to be telling you very breathlessly because I'm so out of breath today. By the time I was done doing my makeup, I was so tired that I was just like, fuck this. So yeah, here I am just, pushing the limits of how bad this hair can look before I do something about it. Today's video is a little bit creepy. And I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but with fall almost here, and that means Halloween is here, I really want to do more supernatural type of videos because I have had a lot of crazy experiences, especially with my near-death experience in the past couple of months. I think about it a lot and it gives me goosebumps. So as you guys know, I was diagnosed with a very rare and deadly blood disorder, and leading up to those 2 months a lot of weird things were happening, and I tried to not notice them. I tried to remove those things from my mind, like I'm going crazy, this is just my anxiety, I'm just fucking weird. Weeks leading up to my diagnosis, I was noticing very morbid and weird things, and I never thought of those things, so that's why it sticks out to me in my brain so much, because I was never a really morbid person before. I remember I was climbing a mountain in Czech Republic. This was about 2-3 weeks before I was diagnosed, and I was basically dying at this point, and had I not gone to the doctor, I would have passed probably, I don't know, a month to 2 months after. Thankfully, luckily, I did go to the doctor and we caught this in time and I was able to get treatment. Everybody that I was with was in a good mood and happy, and I was having a really tough time getting up this mountain. I had a hard time breathing, my muscles were contracting, my heart was beating so fast out of my chest that I could hear it, that people in my vicinity could hear my heart, and I felt so nauseous, I felt like I was gonna throw up. And on my way up to this mountain, I kept seeing these crosses everywhere, and I was the only person noticing them. Like, I would tell my stepdad, my brother, like, hey guys, look at this cross, and they'd be like, oh, I didn't even see that. Everywhere we went on this mountain, my mind and my eyes would just go straight to these crosses, and I would have these really morbid, scary, freaky thoughts like, oh my god, what if something happens to me on this mountain? Because of that fear, I started to go very slow. I went at a snail's pace up this mountain, and my stepdad and my brother were kind of antagonizing me, like, come on turtle, come on slowpoke, like what the hell, you're not in good shape. Part of me was like confused because I have always been the one to lead and to go faster than everybody else, and here I was like barely able to take 10 steps. But something in me, after seeing those crosses, just made me want to slow down. And now looking back, knowing that my blood is unable to clot and that I could bleed out from just, falling, I now am like, oh my god, like, I am so lucky that I went slow, didn't listen to anybody, and just went at my own pace, because there were plenty of opportunities where I could have fallen and I would not have made it down from that mountain. Another thing that I really noticed a lot of in the weeks up until my diagnosis is black crows everywhere. Constantly. I'd be taking a walk with Frank, black crow would be walking right next to me, and I would look at black crows all the time and not think anything of it, but during that period of time I was like, is this some kind of weird sign? And one of the craziest things that happened is, as you guys know, my father passed away. It's gonna be 4 years now, and his name was Bruce. It was on the evening that my mother packed up my stuff in my apartment and took me back to Connecticut. This was after I had received my diagnosis and I was having issues with my insurance, so I ended up moving back to Connecticut to my parents' house, and I was so unsure. I kept asking myself, is this the right decision for me? Like, I am losing everything. I'm losing my apartment in New York City that I loved so much. I'm leaving behind a life that I had built for myself, and I was just so depressed and miserable on that hour-and-a-half long car ride. And you guys know how on Facebook there is this feature, like if you're somewhere out with people or friends, when you log into Facebook, it's going to say, hey, do you want to tag yourself at so-and-so? And I was in a moving vehicle, but when I went into Facebook, it popped up and said, hey, do you want to tag yourself at Bruce State Park? And I'll even show you guys where this place is, and that is on the way from Manhattan to where I am in Connecticut. And here it is, Bruce Park. I don't know if you guys can see. And yeah, that popped up on my phone, and Facebook asked me, hey, do you want to tag yourself at Bruce Park? And I just thought it was very strange because I was in a moving vehicle and I was on a highway, and Facebook never ever really asks me to tag myself in any kind of location, but the fact that it did during such a weird time, I was kind of trying to reach out to my dad those last few days because I knew something was wrong, and I felt like that was my dad's way of saying that he's there for me and that he's looking over me and that I'm making the right decision in letting go of my apartment and moving back to Connecticut. So as soon as I saw that, it was like a sign to me, and I was able to breathe and relax and calm down. And at that point, I fully accepted that I had to leave New York in order to get better. And finally, the weirdest thing that happened was actually something that happened 4 years ago. My dad was in the hospital and he was hooked up to a life support machine and he was unconscious. He was not able to speak. I sat with him in the hospital for about 4 days, and during those 4 days, his friends and other family members would trickle in and out of the hospital, and I would talk to them about what's going on. I was the one responsible for him because he was divorced and I was his next of kin. My father was very good friends with a married couple that I somewhat sort of knew. The news at that point was pretty bad for my dad. Like, the doctors were basically telling me that now was the time to start making decisions about potentially taking him off of life support. And his friends came in, and the couple, one of them was a doctor and the woman was actually a psychic. And on their way out, they stopped me, and the wife looks over at me and she says, I really think that you should get some blood work done. And I looked at her like, oh no, I'm fine, like I'm healthy. And she gave me this very serious and concerned look, and I wasn't sure at the time if it was because she was so upset with what was going on with my dad. She looked at me in a way that was her trying not to scare me or stress me out because I was already going through something so stressful, but I think she was really trying to reach out to me, and I ignored her advice, and I wish I hadn't because I was so stubborn and I thought I was so healthy and I could never imagine myself getting sick. I still remember the way that she looked at me that day, and it was with fear. And now I think back on that. I think of that day all the time. I've tried to reach back out to her, but I don't think she's doing psychic readings anymore. Maybe she just doesn't want to give me a psychic reading because, like, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to be put in that position of giving me, like, really bad news or something. I don't know. I don't want to think about that. But yeah, so that is just some of the crazy supernatural and weird stuff that's been happening to me these past couple months, and also, you know, past couple of years. It's really crazy. I want to know, what do you guys think about all of this? I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around all of it. Also, I did a vlog of me climbing up the mountain, so you can see that this really did happen. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more videos like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face because that makes you cool or some shit. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!